is Bakhtaar Mahmood and you're watching DNOW. Since 1989, the deliberate campaign by the Indian Army against Kashmiris has manifested in brutal tactics such as crackdowns, curfews, illegal detentions, massacre, targeted killings, siege and vandalism of the properties, torture, enforced disappearances and sexual violence against women, extrajudicial killings and maligning of the indigenous freedom struggles. As terrorism, Kashmir remained volatile with repeated episodes of mass violence by the IOFs in 1990, 2008, 2010 and post-2016. Since 2000, over 80 fake encounters have been reported in illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The martyrdom of Zia Mustafa in a fake encounter is a question mark on the performance of the international human rights organizations. Zia Mustafa was detained in Kot Bhalwal jail in Jammu in 2003. He was brought out of the jail and killed in a fake encounter by the Indian troops in the Poonch district of IOJK. Zia Mustafa, who inadvertently crossed the line of control in 2003, was arrested by the Indian Army. He was imprisoned in India's illegally occupied Jammu's Kot Bhalwal jail for the last 17 years. According to Zia's brother, he was 15 years old at the time of crossing over the line of control.
मेरा नाम ज़िया है और मेरा ताल्लुक रानाकोट गाँव बर्मा क्लास है। ये 2003 की बात है कि उस वक्त उसकी उम्र 15 साल थी। तो जब उसने गलती से बॉर्डर लाइन क्रॉस की तो उस पे जो है इंडियन फोर्सेस ने उसको गिरफ्तार कर लिया।
Zia's family lodged an application for his disappearance at the local police station in 2003. After the recent incident, Zia's family also lodged an FIR against the Indian Army and police. According to the Jammu and Kashmir police, Mustafa was taken to Bhatia Union for identification of the terrorist hideout during the ongoing operation, which has been underway for more than 2 weeks now. Back in 2003, Mustafa's arrest was announced on April 10 at a press conference by Jammu and Kashmir DGP AK Suris in Srinagar. Indian authorities tried to cover up their failure to stop the resistance movement for freedom in Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir by killing innocent citizens and portraying them as encounters. Zia Mustafa had also completed his term of imprisonment and was taken out of the jail by deception and martyred at a fake encounter place.
जबरन उन्होंने उसको कैद करके रखा 18 साल तक। ये आज से तकरीबन 4-5 दिन पहले की बात है। तो हमें बताया गया कि उनको शहीद कर दिया गया।
Mustafa had spent the last 18 years in jail, most of them in Srinagar, before he was moved to Jammu's high-security Kot Bhalwal jail in 2018. In October 2003, a session court in the South Kashmir framed charges in the case, but the trial dragged on for years, going nowhere. The prosecution was able to produce only 9 out of 38 witnesses for examination till 2011. None of them testified against Mustafa. Since the government had been unable to produce more witnesses, said Mubashir Gattu, who had been Mustafa's legal counsel, a trial court in Shopian closed the evidence for the prosecution. The state government challenged the local court's decision and appealed to the High Court that same year. In 2014, the Jammu and Kashmir High Court dismissed the plea after the state failed to appear for a hearing of the petition. The state government then approached the Supreme Court seeking more time to produce witnesses. In 2015, the Supreme Court directed the Jammu and Kashmir High Court to consider the petition once again, but the prosecution even failed to appear before the High Court to argue for the petition, said Gattu. Thus, on August 11, 2017, the High Court dismissed the petition once again, citing the lack of interest. Therefore, since 2017, all we have been getting are just adjournments and the next hearing dates. According to Gattu, Mustafa appeared for a hearing at the Shopian trial court until 2018. Mustafa was transferred from the Srinagar Central Jail to the high-security Kot Bhalwal Jail in Jammu. He also questioned why the police had taken Mustafa to the forest, an active combat zone where he could have been killed. Was he given safety gear or bulletproof vests? He asked. None of these questions have been answered by the government so far. This was the third incident this year when an arrested civilian aiding the security forces have ended up dead. Zia Mustafa's fake encounter is a question mark on the performance of the international human rights organization. Human rights organizations and protagonists of the peace should urge the government of India to immediately fulfill its obligation to ensure the safety, security and the humane treatment of all Pakistani prisoners in Indian jails and detention centers pending their release or repatriation. The Pakistani Foreign Office should take the matter to the international courts. Pakistani media should urge the government of India to urgently authenticate this particular incident, undertake a credible and transparent investigation into it, ensure justice and hold the perpetrators to account.